we're back. Another week. We made it to February somehow. We're 6 weeks into this experiment.
We're a month in. Well, we've made it to the next month. We actually had to go through 5 to get here.
Yes.
But we did it. Yeah, we're on episode 6 of 50. I'm going to officially call this the home stretch.
Yes. The worst year of our lives. I'm Daniel.
I'm Scott.
I'm Drew.
I'm Doc Hendricks.
It's the year 2000. WCW Nitro. We're back with a bang. February 7th from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Drew, 5,308 paid, plus 1,000 comps.
Oh my God.
That's almost 20% of the building comp. For a gate of about 100 grand.
Solid.
Good money.
Yep.
Paid the bills.
So,
Worth it.
I think just before quickly we get into the rundown, I don't know how much we touched on it in the first episode, which is when we should have, but now that we're a month into it, just like why exactly we're doing this. I like to think there's more to it than haha WCW was bad in 2000. Let's watch all of it and be miserable.
Yeah.
They like the point of it, I think, is just to analyze how something like this could have happened. To sort of be amazed how it could have gone on for a year. It didn't go on for much longer.
Yeah.
But to learn from it and to not repeat the mistakes of the past.
I think we're just
No?
watching it back.
I don't know.
Also, the most any wrestling company has ever lost in a
Yes.
single year. WCW in 2000. So
50-something million, 60-something million?
I think it was
somewhere in there?
60-something million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After
Making the most any company had made up to that point.
In 97 or 8?
98. 98. They made, I think, 80 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, roughly a $140 million swing in 2 years.
Yes.
Yeah. If nothing else, it's an economics lesson. We wanna edutain.
Yeah, 62 million they lost in 2000.
Pretty good.
Anyways.
Not bad. Jump change.
Let's start things off. We've got 3 count in the ring.
Was that the very first thing?
Yes.
I think we
No,
didn't we start with the worthless NWO
A
promo?
promo that you could not hear among other promos throughout the day in the back.
Oh, every single backstage promo, the audio was garbage because
They did not
they
have boom mics.
forgot to invest in boom mics, and they're
Yes.
just using camera audio.
Yeah.
So I think it was just like, oh, how's Kevin
Yeah,
Nash
Kev's
doing?
not here again.
I'll take care of
Jared's
it.
still
blah, blah,
commissioner,
blah.
blah, blah, blah.
It's just the same self-masturbatory.
If you thought
Yeah.
life was difficult before, I'm gonna make it more difficult now.
Slappy.
I have a theory that they filmed every single backstage NWO promo we've seen from January to now
in one day.
at once.
Yeah.
They could have.
I mean, very possible.
That the only thing that
Kevin Nash is gone.
Yeah, the only thing that's a guarantee they didn't is because that means they would have had to plan 5 minimum weeks in advance, and that's fucking impossible.
Yeah.
But everything else, they very much could have.
Yes. So after that, we got 3 count in the ring. They're wanting to perform their song.
Yeah.
But then the music over the loudspeaker is speeding up and slowing down and speeding up and slowing down.
Someone's messing with it.
And then we cut to the sound/video, the production truck. Norman Smiley is there wearing a Tulsa Oilers jersey.
Yep.
Is that an AHL team or an ECHL?
Yeah, they were a Central Hockey League team at the time. Now they're an East Coast Hockey League team.
Thank you for Drew for all your
Drew.
your minor league hockey
Drew's minor
information.
league hockey corner.
You're welcome.
As long as we got Norman, we're going to have that.
Yep,
That's going to be a segment on the show.
Regular segment.
So Norman's the one who's behind messing with the music. At which point he plays his own music. And then he proceeds to take.
That's music. Woo.
He takes about 2 minutes to get to the
Well, yeah,
ring.
because he dances to it in the truck for a minute.
Yes.
Then he has to get from the truck to the ring.
Yes.
Which would explain why you're just seeing shots of the crowd and their signs for about 2
Lots of crowd
minutes.
shots.
Yeah.
Lots of crowd shots.
So we've got Norman versus Evan Courageous.
As part of the most coherent storyline in WCW currently.
Honestly, it's probably been the most entertaining thing so far. Well, one of the most entertaining things. I think we've agreed Norman is our number 3 MVP.
Yeah.
Of Nitro.
Definitely held that this week. I didn't think anyone.
No one's passed him. So this is his 3rd straight week having a singles match with a member of 3 Count.
All building up to wrestling the worst member of 3 Count, Evan Courageous.
Yes.
Yep.
not much happened in this match, really.
No.
We didn't get one of Norman's world's greatest body slams, unfortunately.
They did the guy sits on the top rope in the middle of the ropes and sort of inside legs his.
Oh, it's like the Ray elimination from a battle royal.
Exactly. But he did it real weird and gingerly.
He was sitting on the top, like Evan Courage was sitting on the top rope, and then Norman's in front of him, and he grabs Norman by the back of the head and just kind of
scoops him out.
Yeah,
and then Norman just rolls right back in.
Yeah, Moore and Helms threw him back in immediately.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I think he jumped in.
No, I think he got himself back in because I don't think it was the right spot.
Yeah,
I think Courageous did it kind of took him out of there.
Yeah,
and Norman's like, no, we're not ready for that. And then because then the rest of 3 Count kind of got over there, and it seemed like they were going to do a spot over there, but then they didn't. Yeah.
Probably because Courageous thought, well, we've already done that. So.
Yeah. So then Moore distracts the ref. Helms gets on the apron, gets Courageous thrown into him, and basically gets backdropped into the ring for no real reason.
Yeah, Moore's on the apron. Courageous gets thrown into him.
No,
this makes Moore fall into the ring.
Helms.
I thought Helms was the second one.
No, Moore is distracting the ref.
Yeah, Helms is the first one.
Okay.
Moore doesn't do it. Moore
Helms
doesn't
falls
bump.
in.
Helms falls in.
Okay.
And basically gets Courageous gets thrown shoulder first into Helms, who then takes a back bump over into the ring, but
in
then
defiance of physics,
immediately leaves.
Gets thrown out.
Gets thrown out. Then
Moore gets up on the.
Moore's still on the apron. Norman gets pushed into him into a reverse rolling cradle, like an O'Connor roll.
Yeah.
Which then Norman reverses into his own O'Connor roll. While this is all going on, the referee counts the first fall. 1, 2, holds up for a real long time. Norman reverses it, and the ref doesn't break his flow of motion of his arm.
What would have been his 3 count?
Yes.
Now becomes the 1 count for the reverse pin.
Yes. For a quick 1, 2, 3 for a victory for Norman.
Yeah, which is funny because if you actually timed the length of time each guy was pinned for, Norman was pinned for much longer.
Oh yeah,
than Courageous was
easily.
It was like 4 seconds to 2,
something like that. Norman gets out, gets on the microphone, challenges all 3 members of 3 Count to a handicap match, I presume.
Yeah,
at Super Brawl, which that makes lots of sense.
After having beaten them all.
Yes. So the babyface beats all 3 of the heels in 3 consecutive singles matches, and then decides he wants more competition. He wants all 3 of them at the same time.
Works for me.
And then
Norman Smiley fighting babyface.
Then he tells the fine folks of Tulsa that it is wiggle time, which he repeats multiple times.
It's wiggle time! It's wiggle time, Tulsa! It's wiggle time! And then he proceeds to do the wiggle.
To wiggle.
Yes. So next comes probably the most noteworthy segment of the show.
It's the only segment of the show I've watched separately in the last several years.
Yes. The entire NWO comes out. The Harris brothers both get to cut promos for some reason. They don't really say much of note.
And they both suck.
Jarrett doesn't really say much of note. He says he's going to face Sid for the championship at Super Brawl because he still has the commissioner power or whatever.
Yeah.
He assigns the referee, which is Slick Johnson or whatever.
Yeah.
Then says Scott Hall's going to face Sid tonight
to
soften him up for Super Brawl. And then Scott Steiner proceeds to get
Steiner, who is in a pimp costume.
Yes. Surrounded by his women.
He is the Purple Warrior.
His hoochies that got bleeped.
Yeah.
The word hoochie
makes them talk about how good he is at banging.
Both of the women who talked did a bad job.
Yes. Yeah. He gets one of them to Medeja's like, hey Medeja, tell everyone how good I am at banging. And then Medeja's like, oh, Christy, why don't you tell everyone how good Big Papa Pump is at banging?
She outsourced the outsourcing.
Yes.
That's like India saying, hey, Bangladesh, you do it.
Basically. And then for no real apparent reason except just it was on his mind, I guess, or he felt like doing it.
It legit had to not be part of, the writing, because it had nothing to do with anything. There was no feud. They're both heels.
Yes. Scott Steiner decides to go into business for himself and cut the following promo on one Ric Flair. Should I try and do it in his voice? Or?
Your call.
Yeah, dealer's choice.
Okay. When you walked down the aisle last week, I know I wasn't alone. Because the people at home, all they did was grab the remote, change the channel to the WWF, and watch Stone Cold, a person you and your old friends got fired from here because you're a jealous old bastard. So Ric Flair, remember this. In this wrestling business, there's never been a bigger ass-kissing, butt-sucking bastard in this business. But also in life, you're the biggest ass-kissing, backstabbing, butt-sucking bastard, and you belong where you're at in WCW because WCW sucks.
I believe there was a couple more stutters.
I was going to say, there's a lot to unpack in that. First of all, the impression was good, except for the fact that you didn't have a number of strokes during it.
You were more coherent.
Okay, yeah. Sorry about that.
Because Scott definitely had some problems getting through a couple of sentences. Again, got to be the third or fourth straight week that WWF has been mentioned in a positive light.
Yes.
As the better show.
He also, when he says at the end WCW sucks, he gestures to his T-shirt that the NWO is better than WCW. But he's wearing a Superman T-shirt.
WCW ain't no Superman.
Yes.
And he also said some shit about calling Flair out on ripping off Buddy Rogers and how WCW should have signed the real Nature Boy Buddy Rogers even though he's dead.
Yeah. Yeah. So this segment went long over time, legit.
Yeah.
Multiple things had to be axed from the show on the fly. And Steiner was sent home from Thunder the next day for, I guess, going into business for himself.
Yeah.
But apparently no one backstage saw it as a punishment, more as a, oh, cool, Scott's getting a paid vacation.
Yeah, nice. Scott doesn't have to work Thunder.
Not the last time that Thunder comes up negatively on this show.
No. So then after this, we have
Booker in the Wall.
Yeah, Booker in the Wall. There's a little bit of preamble with Jay Biggs in the back talking to police.
Oh, they took away his flame tights.
Yeah, they took away.
That's property of
they
Harley.
went through Booker's gear bag, shit in it. Took away any tights he had that had flames on it.
Very young Randy Orton shit in it.
And then we see Booker and Midnight walking through the backstage. Booker talking about how they can't take away his dignity, even though they took away his gear
and his tea
and the tea in his name.
And the music.
So the music.
So
that brings us to where we are now. Booker comes out. We're trying to figure out who's coming out because we're not. There's a commercial break in there.
It sounds like a Leave It to Beaver parody, like what Beaver Cleavage came out to.
Yes. Except it was the actual Leave It to Beaver theme.
Real music.
Because
Turner owned it.
Turner had the rights to broadcasting all the Leave It to Beaver reruns on TBS and what have you. And so, shasha, what a good joke. Booker T, now Booker, no T, has to come out to the Leave It to Beaver theme.
He basically squashes the wall. He hits all of his moves on him.
Yes.
Yeah. And any one of which he could have pinned him after.
Yep.
Hits the scissor kick, could have pinned him.
Yeah.
Hit the bookend, could have pinned him. Goes up top.
Well, prior to that, he also cut off the wall from doing a top rope shoulder block, I guess, with a Harlem sidekick.
Yep.
Which the wall just kind of like ate it in the face, and then like a narcoleptic just like fell over onto his...
It was pretty sweet, actually.
At which point... Booker hits all his shit. It's like, okay, is he just gonna beat him clean? Like, hits the bookend, but he literally got up, didn't make a pin, just kind of appealed to the fans, and we're like, oh no, of course not. He's not gonna try and pin him. Like, something.
Why would we be getting a finish?
Something screwy's gonna happen. Yeah. Booker goes up top. Jay Biggs and his police officers show up. They try to distract him, I guess.
Yeah.
But the timing's kind of messed up.
Yeah, because like. Booker goes to the top for, I guess, the
Harlem hangover or drop kick.
And I think they were supposed to come out and distract him, and the wall is supposed to...
and you can hear the house mic is also...
Because the wall is supposed to get up and then hit the ropes and crotch him, but, like, the wall got up... Before any of that, the wall got up, crotched him, like, while he stood there, and then the mic...
Yeah. And then Wall hits a choke slam and cleanly pins him.
Yeah.
Or as clean as you can get, I guess, in this company in the year 2000.
So then I have Lenny and Lodi promo, but Drew informs me it's Lane and Rave.
Yep.
I don't think he's got the name Rave yet.
But that's what they are.
But they are, huh? Interesting.
Yeah.
I do not remember Rave at all.
And like I said last week, the idea was to make them a cool Hardy Boys like tag team.
Yeah, well, they're dropping some cool insider terms because they were talking about getting over last week. They mentioned chasing rats this week.
Yeah.
And they said they were
the best.
And they said, we're going to go challenge the Mamalukes for the tag titles. That'll get us on Thunder.
Yeah.
And that was it.
So that brings us to Tank Abbott. Is that where we're at, or
I think so. I don't have it written down, so it's somewhere in there.
yeah, I believe
Tank Abbott versus Barbarian.
Tank Abbott versus Old Man Barbarian.
What happened to my Barbarian?
Barbarian in gear, but with a shirt on.
And like a weird long haircut.
Yeah,
and like a frumpy trench coat for his entrance attire.
Yeah, like Barbarian, like he is going through some like he went through a bad breakup or something. Like he just like didn't care.
Yeah,
he had a real.
It's WCW 2000.
He had a real sad black T-shirt. Like the T-shirt made me sad. Barbarian should not be wearing a T-shirt.
No.
I don't think he was in particularly bad shape versus other Barbarian.
And
times.
like it's the Barbarian. Like
Yeah.
he has the genetics that he's just like even if he's fat, he's
still big
He's
and
a big guy. It's not
intimidating,
like gonna spill out. You know,
Yeah.
like it's gonna be like a compact fat.
Yeah, I didn't get it. Tank Abbott killed him.
Tank Abbott killed him. They had a pretty. I mean, it was an entertaining match. It went 52 seconds.
Yeah.
So
It was a lot of just kind of hits,
shoving each other back and forth
Tank-
into
the
the
body
corners.
slam.
Yeah.
Tank took one bump. He got shoved and went
Yeah.
down.
Yeah, Barbarian took one, which was the big like double.
Oh, the double leg with the
Big high double leg.
Um,
Tank knocked. Oh,
the
Tank
ref-
knocked him out after the ref did a dance for no reason.
yeah, the ref is kind of trying to get in between a melee and then accidentally just falls down between them and
scoots away.
like right before the finish.
Yeah, and then Tank hit him with a good looking punch.
Yep.
Tank continues to be
Remains
our number 2 MVP of the year, probably. I mean, he was 1, but he might be 2 now.
Sid's pretty great.
We know who fucking
Sid's
number
pretty
I
great.
really like
I
Sid.
think Sid's number 1. But more on that later.
Kelly and Drew are giving each other Sid fist bumps right now.
Sorry, not to backtrack, but they were Lenny and Lodi. Then they were Lenny and Rave.
Yeah.
Then they were Lane and Idol.
Why
All
did it-
within the span of them stop being standards and practices.
Why did any of that happen?
Continue.
So Tank Abbott knocks out Barbarian. Then he kind of jaw jacks with Big Al, who's in the audience again.
Now, Big Al, would that be Al Green?
No, go on.
Would that be 911?
Keep going.
Would that be Alan Creasy?
I
Would that
wish.
be the guy that Paul Simon was singing about? That was just an Al. That was
You can call me Al. He's not necessarily Big Al.
Yeah.
Was it Al Lawrence of the Lawrence Brothers? That's the youngest one, right? Or was it Larry?
It was Larry Lawrence of Joey, Matthew, and Larry Lawrence from
Lawrence
Brotherly Love.
Yeah, Larry, of course, being short for Lawrence.
Lawrence.
So, that's a stupid inside joke. No one's going to get it because it's just a joke we made earlier today.
People know the Lawrence brothers.
I guess so. So, next up is, honestly, I don't think we, put it over amongst ourselves as being as bad as it was. But it was a really terrible segment.
Oklahoma?
So
good.
So Boomer Sooner plays. We're sort of like, oh, is it the varsity club? But it's like, oh no, that's Oklahoma.
That's Oklahoma.
Yeah. So fucking Ed Ferrara comes out doing his JR impression.
Good guy Ed Ferrara.
I honestly thought he was gone after the Medusa feud, and maybe he was because this just continued the Medusa feud.
Yeah.
After I assumed it was over after they vacated the Cruiserweight Championship.
Nope.
I was wrong.
No.
So he comes out. He brings out a random plastic surgeon who he claims has done work on everyone from Boise to Bangkok.
Yep. To plastic surgery hotbeds.
He asks if he's done work on Medusa. The guy says yes. Then he asks for specifics. He says, hey, come on, doctor-patient confidentiality. So then he goes, okay, well, how about I just ask you procedures and you say yes or no? And he just, goes down
Very
a
clever loophole.
Yeah, he goes down a laundry list, oh, has she had her nose done? Has she had her butt done? Has she had her ass done? He says yes to everything.
Sorry, butt and ass.
Did I say butt?
Yeah,
Oh, sorry.
I meant
I meant boobs.
One of those would be tense.
I meant boobs. Sorry. All of this is because Oklahoma is talking about how he is going to oversee the new WCW women's division.
Yeah.
And
Which, does that ever happen? There's no from here on. There's never a women's title.
No. But
So,
I
I don't know
mean,
what
we know Rhonda Singh comes in at some point.
Yeah.
Is it
But,
a part of this?
How many other women can you think of in WCW 2000? Like, not many.
I honestly don't remember.
Asia.
I guess they make a couple Nitro girls wrestle.
Which?
But
Yes.
Ron Singh debuted when?
1979.
Yeah. Rhonda Singh, who is like 50 years old at this point, we didn't even realize.
Yeah.
She's not here yet. This is just all going on memory. I think part of the fun of this is we shouldn't look up things that happen ahead
Yeah.
of time.
Yeah.
We gotta go on our memories, which at this point, are 18 years, ago.
Yeah.
So,
They're
go.
calling.
We're getting the call. It's
Oklahoma.
It's Tony Schiavone.
It's Oklahoma when he's mad.
We're talking about him 20 years in the future.
Andrew Lawrence.
Oh,
I was close. Al.
Larry.
So Medusa comes out. She's a monster, for the record.
Yeah, she's a Frankenstein.
I literally couldn't tell if it was Medusa coming out or if heel Oklahoma had
Like a man in drag.
some man or disgusting woman come out dressed as Medusa. Medusa is a complete self-parody.
She's in this awful USA halter top thing with sleeves and
Mad USA.
fringe. She's got this little mini skirt that's just riding up as she's walking down, showing her underpants.
Tits a poppin'.
Tits a poppin', tits down to her belly button.
Yeah, they were riding
Wearing
low.
these gross shiny silver stilettos
She was disgusting.
that she manages to throw bad kicks in.
I gave her points for every kick she threw and didn't fall down.
Which is true. And then this segment turns into a gross fetish video.
Turns into Dan porn.
What?
Yeah, at one point
You
you,
love ball
definitely
torture.
referenced getting that you were getting hard.
Oh yeah, okay, fine. So yeah, it turns into a ball torture.
She
thing.
mashes his genitals with her stiletto.
Yeah, she mashes the doctor's
After
genitals.
giving him a pretty good slap.
Like some definite
Yeah.
penile sounding.
Hard slap, hits him over the head with a clipboard,
Breakaway clipboard. Because
Yeah.
it shattered into a million pieces.
kicks him in the dick, and then stamps out his dick like a cigarette.
Yeah. Super hot.
It's
Yeah, it was pretty great.
My notes read, Medusa slaps Doctor really hard, stomps on balls with stiletto, Dan gets turned on.
Well, I don't think it was just Dan. I think it was all of us.
The most.
Thank you for coming to my defense, Kelly. So then we have Terry Taylor in the back.
What do you think I have those cleats in the back for? Sports.
I do always have cleats in my trunk for stomping my own balls out. So Terry Taylor comes out. This didn't make a ton of sense to me. He says,
Drew's making a face.
"What is going on?"
Drew has looked up something.
I'm
on
sorry,
the
no, I
internet.
clicked on the Medusa to see some general information.
Oh yeah, general.
And I got a pay-per-view from later in this year that has a match I can't even fathom how it's a thing.
I don't want to know what it is. No
spoilers.
spoilers.
Well,
No
but,
spoilers. You're
Although-
breaking. You're breaking the rule I literally just made 3 minutes ago.
Although we'll never see the pay-per-view.
No, exactly. So
That's fine. We'll get to
But
the
we will see
build,
the
and
build.
then we won't.
And the aftermath.
Yes, and none of them will actually give us clues as to what happened.
Yeah, and this is the beauty of only watching Nitros, because we watch the build to the pay-per-views, and then the aftermath of the pay-per-views, and then we just kind of fill in the middle.
Yeah. We get to make up our own payoffs and
Yeah. Which are probably better than what actually happened.
So Terry Taylor's in the back. He's interviewed about basically what Jeff Jarrett has made. I don't understand this. Jeff Jarrett's the acting commissioner, acting for Kevin Nash.
Taylor was announced as having some sort of power.
Yeah, Taylor's on a committee. He's essentially on the booking committee.
WCW committee.
And they can't change the participants, but they can change
tweak it?
stipulations.
Yeah.
So Slick Johnson's no longer the referee, and the Sid Scott Hall match
It's for the title now.
It's for the title.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Well, Scott Hall now has an undeserved world title shot.
Yes.
And take that, NWO.
Yes, in his his first and last match in Nitro or in WCW in 2000, but he does wrestle coming up in a little bit. We know that.
He makes it to the pay-per-view, and
Then
not at
then
all
not
past
after
that.
So after this, they show going to commercial. They show a bunch of clips of the classic Terry Funk, Ric Flair, I Quit match from Clash
Huge mistake.
Clash of the Champions 9 New York Knockout
Never show that.
in the fall of '89. Legitimately a very good match, 5-star match from '89. Flair is like the best wrestler in the world in '89, and this is one of his best performances.
It's like Flair's 5th best match of 1989. And better than anyone else's best.
Yeah, no, it's an amazing match. Building up, of course, the logical successor to that match.
11 years later.
Terry Funk versus David Flair.
I Quit match.
In an I Quit match.
Perfect, let's do it.
So they spend all this time building up about how this is a classic match, and we're about to see something that's going to be on par with it, I guess.
Absolutely.
Yep.
We see Ric Flair get to the building at some point, too. We may have missed that already.
He gets out of the limo with women.
Yeah. Flair spends the entire show just wandering around backstage with women, basically.
Yeah,
I
nothing
think
happens.
3 separate times we see him arrive in a limo, wandering around, maybe watching himself on a screen.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
And
They did the Inception shot.
Yes, and then we see him leaving with the women.
Yeah.
At this point...
I legit think that he was supposed to do something, but Steiner pissed him off and he left.
Yeah, we'll have to look into that and find some kind of hard evidence. We do know that he was pissed off.
Yeah.
We don't know when that happened.
If it actually affected
this show.
Yeah.
I mean, it's WCW and no one is in charge.
That's correct.
So that's very likely to have happened.
The inmates are running the asylum, and blah, blah, blah.
It's fascinating.
Yeah. So Funk and Flair have an I Quit match. There are a
A
bunch.
sentence that means different things in the year 2000.
That's why I left that open-ended. David Flair hits him with about 6 unprotected chair shots
Right in
to
a row.
start the match.
Yeah, and Terry's just like taking them.
Yeah, just
he's not
come
trying-
on,
yeah.
give me more.
Yeah, give me a bunch of chair, and some were like fairly hard. Like they weren't like he wasn't like Balls Mahoney swinging for the fences.
Yeah,
but,
they
like,
weren't Rock on Foley at Royal Rumble.
but they were hard chair shots to the head. And
Yeah.
probably did him no favors.
Funk eventually takes over.
Yep,
He goes to give him a pile driver on the floor,
He
Pulls
pulls
up some
yeah.
of the padding
Yes.
to expose the concrete.
then proceeds to give him a pile driver onto the double stacked padding that he has now created. To be fair, he then follows it up with a padding onto the concrete.
Yep.
Then he gives him a pile driver onto a table.
Yeah,
which
three-
is
basically 3 pile drivers right in succession.
Yes, which-
the 2 on the ground were both good pile drivers.
Yes.
The 3rd one on the table was not.
no, it was basically a gut wrench suplex where he gut wrenched
Onto
David
himself.
onto himself.
Yeah.
Then he sets David up on a table on his stomach. He
Yeah.
climbs up onto the ropes. I thought he was going to give him an outside moonsault
Yeah.
onto the table
That
and
was
like
the plan.
scorpion him.
Yeah. It would have been funny.
But then he cuts a promo on Flair saying, "You better come out, or I'm going to hurt your son even more," to the
Yeah.
point where he's not going to be able to wrestle ever again.
He doesn't come out because Flair has already left because Scott Steiner hurt his feelings.
So then Flair just kind of flops off the table.
Yeah.
So Funk goes down onto the floor, goes up to the referee, Mickey J, and says, I quit, so this match is over, because I don't want to kill this kid anymore.
I need to beat up this kid anymore. Cuts more promos on Flair. Calls him a banana-nosed bastard again.
Yes, this is true.
Also, the fact that when Funk was on the ropes, he was like crying, like, I don't have chickens. Ours is not a chicken farm.
Yeah,
How dare you say it's a chicken farm?
You have a chicken farm, Ric Flair!
Yeah, that line really got to him.
Yeah.
That was a few weeks ago now.
Yeah, so this was kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. Cut 2. Smash cut 2. Stevie Rave versus Disco Inferno.
Yes.
Heel versus heel.
Yeah,
Heel versus heel.
made
Yeah.
no sense. At one point, like 30 seconds into the match, the referee, who was Charles Robinson, just left the ring because both of these guys...
There's a lot of people fucking around outside.
So, Fat T...
Yeah,
and,
who got fatter from the week
He's
before.
legitimately fatter than last
wearing
week.
a sweet, like, green tracksuit. And
Unzipped to the navel.
yes.
Yeah.
He's
And- yeah.
jaw-jacking with the Mamalukes. So Charles Robinson is more concerned with these guys fighting on the outside than the actual match that he's contracted to referee.
Yeah, and perhaps someone pinning the other one and him being there to count the pin.
Anyways, he gets more referees out. They manage to break it up. Then he slides back into the ring. These two have kind of a nothing match. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember like how the finish went down. Like Stevie went and got the
He
slapjack,
went for the slapjack and Disco dodged it.
but then
and it went
Stevie just
flying.
hit him with his finisher anyway.
Yeah, and then Disco and the referee both dove for the slapjack,
that's
which
right.
the referee, which Charles Robinson got to,
Yeah.
and as he was disposing of it, Disco turned around and ate the pedigree.
yeah.
which is also called
the slapjack. Yeah,
which is confusing.
The high angle pedigree, or the triple F if you're a Suwa fan. But
yes, I literally wrote Stevie wins via slapjack, not that one, but the other one.
Correct. So earlier in the show, we had Brian Knobbs confronting the NWO in another just...
About that funny joke they played on him last week.
Yeah,
where he
awkward.
got his arm broken.
Yeah, so saying he wants to face Finlay. He's pissed off that he got screwed out of the money. And then Jarrett's like, oh, you want to be in the ring with Finlay? Okay, you can be in the ring with Finlay again. And they basically played the same practical joke on him
100%.
again. It's like...
If it ain't broke.
Except his hand was broke. So then he left, and they're like, well, let's make him face Bam Bam Bigelow. And they're like, okay. And they're like, well, should it be Bam Bam Bigelow? Do we want to take a vote? Okay, who votes for Bam Bam Bigelow? And then they all like, yeah, Bam Bam Bigelow. It's like...
It was at this point we realized all of the NWO members are horrible at improv.
Yeah, this off-the-cuff thing is not for
bad
them. I don't know who was. Someone suggested that they go to UCB, right?
Take a couple of level 1 UCB classes. I mean, come on. I'm not saying go through the whole system, but you don't have to be a Horatio Sands at the end of it. But but have some competency is what I'm saying.
So Brian Knobbs faced...
Give me some yes and.
Brian Knobbs faced Bam Bam Bigelow. They were obviously running short on time because Knobbs and Finlay, who had previously been tag partners,
and now hate each other.
But I guess used to have the same opening, entrance theme.
Yep.
So they got to come out together, even though one was wrestling, one was the referee,
and they don't like each other.
They don't like each other. They were arguing on their way to the ring.
Yeah.
As they got to the ring, Knobbs is distracted by Finlay, and Bam Bam Bigelow just straight up chucks a garbage can at Knobbs' head.
It was funny.
Really funny.
After that, my notes read: Finlay hits Knobbs, Finlay hits Bam Bam, fast count, new champ.
Yeah.
Am I missing anything?
No, Bigelow beats on him for 2 minutes, then he sets up some chairs.
And Finlay just throws a garbage can.
Finlay gives Knobbs a garbage can so he can cut off Bigelow. But then he hits Knobbs with the chairs.
And pulls Bigelow on top of him.
Yeah, it made no sense.
Yeah. I was also, I had it written down earlier, but there was a very prominent sign on the hard cam side that said, Foley lied.
Yes.
And we don't know what that's about.
Yep.
Oh, wait. No. If it was a month later, it would make sense.
No, this does make sense. Oh no! Yeah. No, when is that pay-per-view though?
Well, it couldn't have been before the 7th of February.
I guess not.
Yeah.
Anyways, we are referencing the fact that
Foley lost a retirement match at No Way Out 2000, which was in February, but then came back for Mania. But I don't think he
hadn't come back.
Hasn't lost that match yet.
Yeah. Okay.
Was it a psychic man?
Maybe.
I think it was just
Who
about
that Foley was going to lie?
It's probably about his book and the things he said about Flair or what have you. It's probably
that would be funny if it
or said it about this guy. Foley lied about me.
That'd be funny if it was a plant by Flair. It's like he didn't say Funk was good.
I'm not a pimple on Terry Funk's ass. Come on. So all throughout the show, we've had Billy Kidman and Tori Wilson making kissy faces at each other
on their own video camera.
On the kid cam.
The
short Casey for short.
Casey, the original social media whores.
Yes.
Yeah. Which they probably fucked on that camera quite a bit.
Absolutely.
So Kidman faces the Demon. Prior to this, another just random aside, we saw the Demon's casket in the back. And Crowbar made a random cameo appearance.
He went and looked at it, thought it was pretty cool, and then played his pipe, not his crowbar, like a guitar.
Like an air bass, I guess, yeah. Anyways, Kidman and Demon had a match.
Couldn't tell you one move besides the finish.
Yeah. It was pretty whatever.
Kidman clean with a top rope Rana.
Yep. And
Crowbar comes out.
Beats
up Kidman.
Hits him with a gourd buster, and that's about it.
Yep.
It's kind of whatever. Kidman they even referenced the fact that Kidman was like the MVP of the show, having all the best matches.
Yeah.
But we're 2 for 2 weeks in a row now. The Wall last week and the Demon this week, where he's having pretty nothing matches.
That being said, I have no idea what the best match on this show is. Norman and Courageous?
That wasn't, I guess, by default.
Sid Scott Hall.
Sid and Hall, Bam Bam and Knobbs, like,
yeah,
I don't know.
It was not a good show.
No.
So Lex Luger comes out. They make references to him as the Cal Ripken of wrestling, or WCW.
Which we tried to figure out what that meant, and Kelly had the best explanation.
Oh, because Cal Ripken is ripped.
Because he's ripped.
Yeah. Cal Ripken is ripped. That's Cal Ripken,
Yeah,
perhaps.
exactly.
He comes out. They show an angle from Thunder where Hulk Hogan, for some reason, made his return on Thunder.
After 3+ months off TV.
And then
Coming back from 1996.
And then
in red and yellow.
Yeah, and then wasn't on the show at all.
No. But his logo was on Lex Luger's custom chair.
Yes.
Which heretofore had been a Sting logo and is now a Hulkster logo.
Well, there was a Sting logo in the back.
There was a Sting logo.
Yeah, he's got both. He's making all his challenges via chair.
I think or he's just selling advertising on it like NASCAR.
Fair. So Jimmy Hart comes out, I guess, in like the role of a production backstage. Talks about how Luger will never be as good as Hogan, never sell as many tickets as Hogan, not as much merch, pay-per-views, etc. And then Luger proceeds to rack him, which we all saw a mile away.
And put him down pretty violently.
Yes. And then they announced for Super Brawl, Luger versus Hogan.
Yeah.
So,
which would be Hogan's first match in months.
Yeah.
And Miss Elizabeth was also there looking... Oh, guess what? Uncomfortable.
Yes. Yeah. So that
can we talk about the video package from Thunder where he picked her up to give her like an atomic drop and she looked so scared and uncomfortable, and then when he gave it to her she sort of just like collapsed.
Yeah, slid across the ring. Yeah.
Unfortunate. So it was at this point I said out loud, okay, we know the main event because it's Scott Hall versus Sid.
Yeah.
It's now for the title. We've seen the preview graphic for it numerous times where we have Sid like in mid like triumphant like post-match pose and Hall just like awkwardly sitting on a couch next to one of the random NWO whores.
A screen cap from earlier tonight.
Yeah, where he's just sort of like, huh?
Looking off into the side.
Yeah, like they really got his best side, his best angle for this one. Anyways, so I say out loud to the group, okay, we know that's coming up. There can't be much time left in the show.
There were 5 minutes.
We paused the show and saw there was 5 minutes left.
That's about right for a main event these
basically.
days.
So both guys came out. Sid with his awesome entrance.
Face champion entering first for some reason.
What he's piping the people up with his chest bump with his fist, and then using the power of his fist to give knuckles to all his little Sid duders.
Yeah. and also before the entrance, before they go to commercial, right before the last segment, walking down the hall yelling Sid.
Yes.
Sid!
Yeah. And earlier they did like a kind of weird, kind of distorted, weird angles of just him kind of like maniacally laughing. Yeah. Because like in like
Psycho
Yeah,
Sid.
being Sid.
I guess in some promos he's like pretty coherent and he's just kind of an intense dude, and then in other promos he's a straight up lunatic.
Yeah.
So
Ruler of the world, man.
I
call 1-800 so and so to get your Ruler of the World T-shirt from Sid.
Sure. So Hall and Sid have a match, if you can call it that.
Some things are done.
Yeah, Sid basically like squashes him for the first minute.
Yeah, boom, boom, boom,
Choke slam.
His choke slam. Hall then basically no-sells
completely
it.
no-sells it.
Eye
and,
gouges.
And gets his heat back.
Makes his comeback. Goes for his fall-away slam. The referee is awkwardly standing behind them, so you can see the ref bump is coming a mile away.
Yeah.
Hall fall-away slams Sid into the ref, which is Nick Patrick.
Yeah. It was a stupid setup and a stupid move into it, but then Nick Patrick took like a real over-the-top bump, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was a good bump. Then, as soon as that happens, Hall gets up and he sends for the man.
Does a big old wave.
It does the big run-in, Wes Sims-esque call for a run-in mid-match as you're getting your ass kicked. Jeff Jarrett comes out. They just beat on Sid awkwardly. They kind of like ram into the guardrail and then throw him into the front row onto some old ladies.
Yep.
And then ram him.
They were probably stunt grannies, so don't worry about it.
Then ram him into the announce table, throw him into Fat Mark Madden.
But Sid really didn't want to take the bumps on the table.
No. And then awkwardly, Jarrett's like, my work here is done.
You got this, Scotty.
So he leaves. So Scott Hall throws him back in. Ref is still bumped. We're a few minutes in. Scott Hall somehow gets him up. Really, like, not... I mean, it's a bit of a struggle, but, like...
He gets him up like a fucking boss for the edge.
For the outsider's edge.
Yeah, he gets him up really good.
Hits him with a nice outsider's edge. Because
like,
Sid is legit, like, 6'5", 300 pounds, probably.
Yeah, gotta be the best... Like, one of the best power moves Sid has ever taken.
Yeah. At which point, Jeff Jarrett realizes, like, hey, you were supposed to just soften him up and then leave?
Yeah, I don't know
the
what
end game here was.
Jarrett wanted Scott Hall to do after they beat him up.
Jarrett's like, all right, we finished beating him up. I'll leave you to not pin him now.
For the world title.
Yeah. So then he realizes, oh, this guy's going to win the world title now. So he comes back in, argues with him, then hits him with his guitar.
Pops him with a guitar.
Puts Sid's arm on his dick, basically, for the cover. Then pulls Nick Patrick over, who makes a 3 count.
Yep.
And that's the show.
Yep. And then says,
if you're not with me,
you got to choose.
Yeah, the rest of the NWO comes down and go,
What'd you do?
Well, like, what was that all about? And he basically says, if you're not with me, you're going to get your ass stretched, like everyone else who gets in my direction.
Oh, yeah, because there was I don't know.
Oh, yeah, the opening promo.
He
where he said, this outsider's going to be
all up in your ass
or something. Yeah. When they made the Sid versus Scott Hall match. Yeah, that was good.
So if summing things up, if that's not the thesis statement for this episode, I don't know what is. Either you're with Jeff Jarrett or you're going to get your ass stretched.
The end.